So I'm going to tell a story about how, due to the coronavirus pandemic and the lockdowns and all that, and my getting sick with the Rona, I got to experience the love of God in a way I did not expect. I got to experience the touch of God through a pagan Wiccan witch. And that's particularly interesting to me because I grew up Catholic with a Christian framework, right? And even though I no longer practiced that religion at the time, even today, it was still my reference point for spirituality. And I was aware of other perspectives of spirituality, of course. But that was my primary reference point. And this is something that served to shape it differently, which I think is quite interesting. And so this story is going to meander a little bit because I'm going to talk about my relationships with a couple people as this story moves on. So let's begin with early 2019. And by the way, I talked about this a little bit in the video I have titled My Karaoke Journey, which I'll post a link to it up here somewhere. Okay. So 2019, I decided I want to learn to socialize more. Now, I lived in town since 2005, but I never really felt like I belonged in this town. I felt like an outsider who was just kind of lodging here. But after befriending some people in town, making a friend group, I wanted to begin to socialize more broadly. So I started walking down to the local restaurants and bars and going in, having a drink, trying to socialize a little bit, and then getting out. It's hit and run, right? I go in, for example, there's an Irish pub in town, and a lot of the younger crowd would congregate there. Yeah, it'd be a bit of a rowdier place. Sometimes it'd be karaoke there, which I didn't do yet, but it is quite relevant to the story later. And I go and have a beer and get out. And I know I felt awkward. I didn't have anything to talk about being an autist. I don't really care about the mundane bullshit that apparently neurotypicals can really just tell this really lame stories, but make them sound interesting with the right inflection of voice and body language and all that, which is good for them. I'm not knocking that. It's just something I can't do. I need water. So I went to the bar, I'd sit down, I'd feel awkward, I'd probably look awkward, probably made everyone else feel awkward who was next to me. I'd finish my beer and I'd leave. And then I go to another place. There's another place in town. Different climate. I go have a beer. And the food. The owners were very nice people, very kind people. So I enjoyed visiting that place. A different climate, more laid back. Whatever. I go and have a sloppy Joe sandwich or something, and beer, and I leave. So I visit other places. There's another place in town. There's a pub. I've eaten there many times, but I never went there just to sit at the bar, really, for any length of time. So I'd go there, have a beer, and leave. So doing that, I went with my buddy, who's very charismatic. We went to the Irish pub that I mentioned before. Again, this is early 2019. And it was a busy day. A lot of people there. People drinking, a little bit of dancing maybe, and out of nowhere, a woman puts her arm around my waist, and I turn, and she's like, where you been all my life? Now, I thought she was attractive, and I didn't know how to respond to that. Even though I've had dated people before, been married, had sexual relations with people, I never had any woman hit on me. And the only time people have ever hit on me was to mess with my head, and it wasn't sincere. It was to see, here's this awkward guy, he has a facial tic, Tourette's, he's obviously a spurg, let's go mess with him. So I didn't know how to respond to this, so I quickly disengaged. I'm just an autistic loser, don't mind me. Obviously, the self-deprecating language is a turn-off, and she was expecting a confident reply, and I didn't give one, and she disengaged and just blew me off. I'm like, okay. I remember a friend of mine's like, why did you say that? My buddy's like, because I don't know how to deal with this. How am I supposed to respond to someone when my life experiences, women come on to me? It's a scam. It's a mindfuck. So, whatever. We did what we did there. I think we had steak subs or something, and we left. And life went on. me and the friend group, we'd meet there, here and there, have food, have beers, I don't know, just be degenerates together. And then midsummer, I don't mean literally midsummer, but, in the middle of summer, same friend and I, a charismatic buddy and I, let me say that he is so charismatic, he can have sex with anyone he wants to. And he's so attractive, voice crack, here goes my second puberty. He's had requests by married couples to participate in a cuckolding engagement. I don't know if he actually followed through on that or not, but he's that charismatic and attractive. So there you go. Anyways, we went to the other place, the more laid-back place. And we're having a meal and beers, and two women came in. And they sat next to me at the bar. And one of them was flirting with me. I didn't realize at first. I thought she was going to talk to my buddy. She's like, hey, were you in the military? I thought she was talking to him. I'm like, oh, she's talking to me. I'm like, no, I'm not. Actually, you look like a soldier. Now, in the news, there was a soldier who recently died. I believe he had a tragic accident. I don't remember his cause of death, but his facial features were like mine. Now, I didn't have chops at the time, and I was clean shaven. But we were close enough in physical appearance that maybe she had either seen it in the paper and drew like a subconscious connection, or it was just totally random, and I happened to look or carry myself like a soldier. I don't know why. I'm not physically fit. I'm not attractive. There's nothing going for me. But she apparently thought so. Now, I didn't know how to deal with this. It made me feel uncomfortable again. Like another woman here to mess with me at the bar, here to fuck with my head, because I'm not attractive. And I certainly don't meet women that way. And so I mentioned, no, I'm not. I said, no, I'm not a soldier, but I probably look like the guy in the newspaper who died recently. And the soldier who died has a similar appearance. And of course, that was a turnoff. Here she is, trying to initiate a flirtation, probably to go back with her and maybe her friend and have sex somewhere or something. Or maybe she just wanted a phone number. I don't know. I didn't recognize them from in town. Any case, that's probably a turn-off. Again, I chose the most turn-off response to talk about a soldier dying. And then I was a little bit rude and very short with them. And I wasn't trying to be rude in a hostile way, but I know women don't hit on me. They don't find me attractive that way, especially women who look like that. And she was sexy as hell. So very quickly, they finished the drinks and left. She obviously was frustrated. Even though I have trouble reading body language, I could tell. Okay, I'm not totally clueless. I wasn't then, and I even have better perception now than I did then, right? Through careful study. So, this is important to the story, so please bear with me. Life goes on. I start... the rest of the day, I'm sulking. And I'm miserable because of what went down. And my buddy went about his life, doing whatever. So that evening, to drown my sorrow, I said, I'm going to go out for a drink and just try to, rally again. Let's do this. So I went down to one place, had a beer. Then I walked down, the Irish place first. Then I went down to the friendly place, got another beer, and there was karaoke running. And you should sing. What? Just go sing. So I was nervous. I signed up to sing Silent Lucidity by Queensryche, and I did a fairly good job, a shaking, nervous wreck. And then I sang a couple more songs, not perfectly, but I sang a couple more. And I walked home laughing the whole way, like a huge burden was lifted off my back. And I felt relief. So I got my friend group, to go down there and sing karaoke every weekend. So we did. And there I bumped into the same woman who hit on me at the Irish pub. And there was an extended social network that developed of mutual respect and appreciation to some degree. And it was great to get to know so many people. Now, alcohol was the lubricant, and yes, there are people with whom, if not for alcohol, we probably wouldn't hang out. And when people later decided they've had too much to drink, they need to be sober, obviously the social relationships died out, and that's okay. But at the time, it was a lot of fun. I felt like I belonged in town. I felt like I had a place. I had friends. I had acquaintances. I had a thing to do. I had a relationship with local business owners. I really loved it. And so we did this until, just before the lockdown. I had built a friendship with the DJ, or the KJ, it's probably to term, who ran the karaoke, and he helped me to get ready, get started, helped me get equipment to run my own shows. And I was going to fill in for him for a few weeks while he went on tour, and then comes the lockdown, and that crushed everything, and it destroyed the restaurant eventually. Now, there was no karaoke, the bar, there was no in-person service, obviously, at the restaurant anywhere. It was only takeout only. And fast forward to late 2020, things opened up a bit for a while, so we tried to get karaoke going again, where I would do Friday nights, and the other guy, KJ, would do Saturday nights. And then it got crushed again by decree of the governor, and no entertainment. Like crap. So we go into the winter of 2020. I did private karaoke parties in for a friend, no charge. I was just glad to socialize with people that I grew to appreciate and like, and I got a little practice doing it. And then, of course, things reopened a bit in 2021. And the KJ who helped me get started, he left. So I took over being the KJ for the bar for 3 months before they shut down. And it was the most glorious time. Now, it was hard work. It was hard lessons. I took my lumps. But I got even more connected with all the people there. It was really great, including developing a friendship with with the lady who hit on me at the Irish pub. Now, the restaurant closed because the lockdown just wrecked their revenue, and there's no way for them to get caught up. So, moving on to the fall of 2021, I get really sick with the Rona. I was seriously ill, and I was bedridden for 2 weeks. And I'm just going to summarize. I only had a fever for a few days, but lost my sense of taste. I couldn't breathe. No amount of albuterol would help. In fact, I ended up accidentally overdosing, thinking it was the Rona making my heart foul up and hallucinate and so on. So I drove down to the hospital. I was all over the road. If a cop pulled me over, he would assume DWI. By the grace of God, or whatever, I got there. And they had diagnosed, like, stop using your albuterol, it's not helping you anyways. And, $2,000 later. Okay, I'm home. And after 2 weeks being bedridden, almost 2 weeks, and everything tasting like crap, I hardly ate anything, and I had just explosive laser diarrhea. I had diarrhea that shot out so hard it would flush the toilet. I thought that was kind of funny. Lady from that now we're bringing it full circle. This woman called me. She's like, how you doing? How about I get you some food? And I'll bring you a sup. I'm like, you don't have to give me anything. She's, no, you're getting food and you're getting a sup. You need this. Okay, so I told her what I liked. And she got me groceries. She got me things that I like, mac and cheese, and I don't know, a few other things I like from the grocery store. Even though I wouldn't be able to taste them properly, because everything at the time tasted like sooty kerosene taste. Anyway, she brought the stuff over to my house. My roommate and I went out to meet her, and I was just still completely out of it. I had no strength. So I sat on the porch, wrapped in a blanket, just coughing and just barely able to sit up. And my roommate and her and I, we chit-chat outside. So at a safe distance, so I couldn't cough or anything on this lady. And when she brought that food over, I felt the love of God like I've never felt before. And like I said, this lady's a Wiccan, which is quite interesting. If you have a Christian spiritual framework, even if you don't practice the religion, if that's your point of reference, I felt the love of God through this woman. And it was the most uplifting thing I felt in a really long time. And sure, let me try to knock down my own perception of this. I'm a steel man, the opposition. Well, I dealt with isolation, and my friends didn't, want to really hang out with me, and so on. They would visit each other's houses, but they wouldn't visit me, and that kind of, okay. A little bit of that, for sure. I still think this is the love of God. I don't know what else to say. I think I needed it. So, she also told me, not directly, she kind of beat around the bush, that she thought I was a little bit attractive. And at the time, I was not sufficiently educated in the social, sexual dynamics of attraction the way I am now. But I was flattered, and whatever, maybe I was falling in love with my caretaker or something. But whatever, I still felt the love of God. I got better, and then in the spring, a barbecue place opened in town, and it was really good, Southern barbecue. So I've gone there once and had food. I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm going to invite her to have a drink with me. And so we went out. We made a date for it. I went out, and she stood me up. Now, I am not bashing this person. I am not angry at all. She obviously felt uncomfortable, didn't know how to express it. Okay. So I said, oh, you didn't show up. She's like, well, I really want to hang out. I'm sorry. Just let's try again. I'm like, okay. So I scheduled again. She stood me up again. And I didn't press the issue after that. I let it go. I'm not angry. I think she had a degree of spiritual perception that I didn't pick up on, that I think our vibes would not have jived. We might have been fun to hang out with, singing karaoke and whatnot, but as a couple, it wouldn't have worked, and she could sense that. And so I took that rejection with gratitude. She ended up getting together with another fellow in town who sang karaoke, and they're a good match for each other. They're both good people. They're both really decent human beings, and I'm very happy for both of them, sincerely. No jealousy, no resentment. People might suspect that, like, oh my God, someone else got your girl. No, she was never my girl to begin with, and I'm really happy for the both of them. The phone rang and it blew up my recordings. I want to just summarize everything I just talked about for people who may have struggled to follow the story and put it together, and also to serve as a summary tool for the AI algorithm if it wants to do a summary of this video. In 2019, I decided to learn to socialize and went to the bars. I got hit on by a woman. It bothered me. I didn't know how to handle it. As I grew in my social connections with people, singing karaoke, eventually running karaoke shows, I developed more connections with more people I care about, people who I have affection for, even if we don't know each other that well. They're people who I always think of fondly. And this woman who hit on me, and I rejected, I didn't know how to handle in 2019, was the person who visited me when I was sick, really sick, with the coronavirus during the pandemic. And she shared the love of God. God's love was transmitted through this person to me. And it was an amazing eye-opening experience. And from an intellectual point of view, very curious for someone who had only, or primarily, a Christian reference point for spirituality, even though I was aware of other forms of spirituality. And this witch brought the love of God to me. Or maybe God worked through this witch to bless me. And though I tried to initiate a dating relationship with her, and she did not want that, ended up getting together with someone else, and I'm happy for both of them. The whole point of all this, if I want to put it together, was of going out, of getting to know people, of even getting sick, even enduring, the lockdowns and all the, the authoritarianism that went with that, was so I could feel God's love. So God touched me through this woman. I am forever grateful. And that's my story. My name's Steve. I have a boulder of shit with my name on it and a hill to climb. So I'm out.